Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it! And will this be enough? My God, Hogan takes him!
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I'm your host, Josh Maber, alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Started baseball season. My Yankees won opening day, beat the Astros because screw those guys. So I'm in a really good mood because also this was on a damn good week of wrestling the last couple of days. Got lots to talk about, do stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, let's start off with the biggest story. John Moxley cut his 3 hairs and now he's bald. No, just kidding. Actually, what we're gonna do is basically with the title of the show, and I hope I spelled it right. We're in a Renaissance era. That's what people are kind of calling it after that Raw episode, which people are arguing. We'll get into it later on, but people are arguing that that was the greatest episode of Raw since they can remember. Which, we'll get into what we think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are saying, after that episode, like, what do you call this era? And a lot of people are going on the Renaissance era, and it's showing because we've got, like, I think Michael Cole said it, but wrestling's starting to sell out. Even AEW is starting to kind of pick up their attendance as well. Not as much as Raw, obviously, or like not as much as these live shows and what WWE's doing. WWE's back in that, selling out shows, signs are everywhere. It's feeling like that 1998, 1997 to 2002 kind of timeline as far as that peak Attitude Era wrestling timeline. Just kind of your thoughts on that, and like, is it what you would call a Renaissance era?
I feel like we've been in a Renaissance, and it's like it's been a combination of a couple things. I mean, the birth of AEW definitely is a big factor because having a major rival again has always been a good thing for WWE, because after AOL Time Warner wanted to wash their hands of the wrestling business and get rid of WCW, and Vince was able to buy it out and basically buy out his competition and become like the monopoly that he had always wanted to. It's like outside of TNA tried, but they were like distant third,
right?
In the early 2000s to the 2010s, it's like they tried, and they produced a lot of great wrestlers and some really good stuff, but couldn't touch WWE as far as like, pay-per-view buys and ratings and stuff like that. So, it's like for 20 something years, almost, it's like WWE was like the de facto show in town until AEW came along. Now AEW is it on the same level as WWE right now? No, and that's being honest. As much as I love AEW, they still got a ways to go, but it's nice to have an alternative because it gives other wrestlers other opportunities, and it's given them opportunities for a lot of people, and they've put on some great stuff. I mean, it's like, it's like, has it been perfect? No, of course not. We've criticized a lot of the booking and especially the women's division and stuff, and like how they handled CM Punk last year was a total fiasco. But they're hitting a groove right now. Ever since Revolution pay-per-view, feels like it's like they're really kind of getting a little bit more focused and are putting out some really good shows and really good matches and stuff. And right now WWE is starting to get cooking, especially with WrestleMania right now in the corner. We really kind of need it because it's like the WrestleMania's been a little up and down. It's like like we've talked about it. Especially when it concerns the main event stuff. But I mean, the numbers speak for itself. I mean, the fact that WWE is selling out so many shows, and they got new contracts. I mean, like the money they're making from NBC and Netflix and CW is a lot for all three brands. So it's like the future is really bright, and it's like on paper, it's like we got Dynasty shaping up to be a hell of a pay-per-view, and WrestleMania, if everything goes off well, this could be one of the best WrestleManias in a long time. Has a potential maybe be an all-timer, depending on how things shake out. Just because the card is just so stacked. I mean, there's just so many like oh yeah, I think that's gonna be a great match. It's like it's been a while since I've looked down a card and I'm like, I don't see a match that is gonna be a stinker. It's like it's it's exciting, and as a wrestling fan, it's a great time for all of us. Outside of the tribalism that's out there for the morons who are like WWE only. It's like WWE great, AEW sucks, or AEW is the best ever. AEW
Right.
It's like get the F out of here, please.
Right.
I don't mind saying that because like I'm tired of that crap. It's like it's like if you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan. It doesn't matter. It's like it's like I was during the Monday Night Wars. I was watching both shows. It's like I was watching. WWE was my gateway into pro wrestling back in the 80s, but when NWA WCW was cooking, I was watching. It's like, and so it's like I was flipping back and forth between Raw and Nitro back in the day. So
especially when Glacier came out, right? Like everyone was tuned into that. But no, I mean, it's just like we said when AEW kind of kicked off, it lit a fire under WWE. Be like, there's big, unlike TNA, who put on some solid wrestling matches and the six-sided ring and all that stuff, and they had their good little run there for about 3-4 years. But it still wasn't ever. But they didn't have the money behind it. Whereas Tony Khan and the Khan family have that money behind it to where it can push WWE and for them to even acknowledge that they exist and that they can, and if they're not happy, they can go there and make even more money, as we saw with the signing of what Okada's getting paid, and Mercedes Moné being the highest paid female wrestler. We really don't. I still haven't seen those numbers. If I did, I couldn't remember.
They really keeping the exact numbers under wraps.
And there's no telling with Ospreay, but I think Ospreay is more of the schedule.
I'm sure Ospreay's paid very well.
But yeah, Ospreay's paid pretty well. But I mean, WWE is the machine. And thankfully we're at a new era where you got to stay patient with it. With the booking of WWE. I think Becky Lynch, it was Becky that came out recently as she was promoting her book and saying how, Triple H really sees something through, whereas Vince would change his mind every single second, just because he just doesn't do it. Where,
that's the other thing. It's like the other big thing that has helped wrestling overall, and especially WWE, is Vince going bye-bye. It's like, not just like not running the creative, but also just out of the company. Yeah,
you can legally can't. They say you cannot say Vince McMahon's name on air anymore. That's outlawed.
Oh yeah, it's like it's like they don't want to touch that. Well, it's like, and with Vince being removed from running the shows, so to speak, and Triple H coming in and getting a good team around him, and it's like there's been ups and downs, but overall it's like it's night and day. The product is just so much. This right now, you got so many great storylines, and also the wrestlers are given a little bit more freedom to be when they're cutting their promos. They don't, it's like it doesn't feel like like pre-scripted garbage that it's like it doesn't come off as natural. It's like it's lots of storylines that are got people's interest and people are invested in, and not just the main shows, but like in NXT, man, NXT is also is really cooking with some great stuff. So that's definitely been a big factor, is that Triple H has a proven track record that he understands what works. Yeah. It's like, and he's not perfect, He's not
No.
perfect, but his track record is compared to Vince's is like night and day.
Yeah, and it's like consistent storylines,
Well,
just sticking with something.
Vince of the last like 20 years. It's like 80s and 90s had its ups and downs, but it's like Vince had some good ideas and pushed some people at the right time with some hiccups here and there, but like last 15 20 years it's like you are completely out of touch, sir.
Yeah, the product became unwatchable at some points, whereas now it's must see television.
That's why I stopped watching for several years.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is garbage. I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah. On that. And so speaking about some controversial people, they're trying to make Hulk Hogan part of WrestleMania. That's kind of some reports that are coming out. Also, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They're trying to get Stone Cold and John Cena. Obviously, John Cena, he's been wanting to be a part of WrestleMania, but they did a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey guys, at the end of Raw, which we'll get into. But those three reports have come out that they are trying to get them involved somehow. Which to me, Aaron Turner is becoming the Nostradamus of the Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes match, and the way it's all kind of planned out, where it is going to be overbooked and awesome at the same time, from what we're getting at.
Yeah. Like Charlotte Flair and Undertaker are already confirmed to be there. Yeah, now there's word that they're trying to get Cena and Stone Cold and Hogan for WrestleMania weekend. And as for Cena, what Cena and Stone Cold could do, well, it's like we're gonna get to that a little bit later when we talk what happened on Raw. And so it's like, well, it makes sense. I mean, this is the 40th WrestleMania. This is a milestone WrestleMania, and it's so
and
they want
Philly, which is a hotbed of that's one of the main hotbeds of wrestling. ECW.
Yeah, so they want to make sure that this one is a damn good WrestleMania and a memorable WrestleMania. So, that's the right time to bring back legends like these guys to help make the weekend a little more special. So, no surprise.
No surprise there. Kind of moving on here. All right, so I did see comments where they interviewed Mike Rotunda, father of the late Bray Wyatt, or Wyndham Rotunda, for those who don't know. And they basically asked him about, we kind of talked about, would they put Bray in the Hall of Fame? And we've kind of talked about on this show where I said, I don't think it's good timing. It's just too soon. They will probably here the next 2 years. My guess would be. But they did interview Mike Rotunda, and he basically said that it was brought up, and Triple H basically made the call to that it wasn't. They still needed more. It would just be too much.
Yeah.
It was too much on the family. But they still wanted to at least honor a Rotunda. So he said that he had a Zoom when Triple H said he wanted to do a Zoom call with him, but it wasn't about his son. It was about him and the U.S. Express going in. Him and Barry going into the Hall of Fame. And obviously we're getting a lot of content coming up with Bray Wyatt. I'll kind of pivot to that on April Fool's Day, April 1st. This isn't a joke. You're going to be smacked with a lot of WWE content with the Bray Wyatt documentary dropping. And then it's tough enough. I don't care how they will rebrand it. It's tough enough, basically, with what that show is. And that's, might as well. It's a Triple H era, so Triple H is going to call it whatever he wants. At least at this point. For that, what other couple? Aren't they dropping another couple things, or just those two things with the Bray Wyatt?
The other thing that was just announced, I think it was announced today, is that it's been rumored for a while, but they're doing this short form show called WWE Speed on X/Twitter, where wrestlers are going to be competing in matches with a 3-minute time limit. And apparently it's going to be like a tournament thing because eventually they're going to like crown a speed champion apparently. So it's like okay, is a new championship? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but that's coming up as well. Obviously they're, experimenting with some stuff, it's like, we'll see if that takes off or not.
It sounds like something Jim Cornette's going to hate.
Most likely. But yeah, the Bray Wyatt documentary this coming Monday after Easter that's gonna be major. That's gonna be heavy.
Yeah,
So
it's heavy is putting it lightly, and I can't believe I just said
it,
Cronet, not Cornet, but whatever.
you're right. And also, it makes sense that they wouldn't want to induct Bray this year. It's too soon. The families. It was only. It's like he only died back in August. It's like
Right.
there's there's obviously got to be grieving mourning. It's like it's a better idea to wait another year. Where they can in a better mental place to be able to honor Bray properly for a Hall of Fame induction. So that was definitely the right call for sure.
Yeah. And it's the Halls is still a solid class this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, it will be Paul Heyman. They have to come out and said who's going to induct him yet, or just going to be on the day of? We'll probably find out.
No, we haven't heard anything about who's going to induct him. There's a lot of options that can induct Heyman. So
okay. Any sales on 2K24? Any updates on that? How that sale's going?
No, I haven't been paying attention to that, but I would assume it's probably still. I'm assuming it's selling well. It's gotten good reviews, so I see people seem pretty happy with it. So
okay. Well, so far I like the way they're advertising it as far as showing the and stuff during the match.
Yeah,
I think that's really clever.
It's very clever.
Very, very clever the way they're doing it, and then showing like the most, the whole like the most used wrestlers, and I like how they didn't use any of like the like Stone Cold or anything like that. They use active wrestlers as far as that. So I did like that. Couple other things. Reports kind of came out, obviously, with Becky promoting her book and everything. Well, Justin, if you want to give a little plug for her, let's give the man to her due on that. She wrote it. She taking after Mick Foley.
I didn't get it this week. I got it last week. My local Barnes and Noble had this in stock a week before, because it was officially released it was officially out this week, but they had it in stock a week early. So I got my hands on this copy like last week. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to reading this. It's like I've talked about how much of a fan I am of Becky. She's one of the main reasons why I came back into wrestling. Happy for her. It's getting good reviews, a lot of praise from people. She's on a book tour. She's going to be at some Barnes and Nobles over the next few weeks, going to Mania, and attendance is pretty well. It's like I've seen her on her Instagram. It's like it's some really touching stuff, interacting with a lot of young women fans. Coming up and saying how like it's like they're fans of her, and more than one saying she's an inspiration. Thinking about getting in the wrestling business. So, it's a reminder of the star power that she has achieved in her career. And so, I know there's a lot of speculation because in some recent interviews, she's, been asked about her contract. She said that, it's coming up and she hasn't talked to WWE about a new deal yet. And so people are, oh, geez, you think she could, her and I highly doubt her and Seth are going to be leaving WWE anytime soon.
There's no reason for her to leave.
And one of them, and they're going to be a package deal because it's like with the $3-year-old dollar, it's like they do not want to be working for different companies because then it's like that. It's very clear that they love traveling together with their daughter, and which they can do because their daughter's only 3, so it's like she's so it's like saves money with having to put her in daycare and preschool. It's like they just have her with her while they travel. So and that's obviously created quite a bond. So it's like they're not gonna want to change that. And it's like they really enjoy being in WWE. It's it's like it's where they've gotten the map, and it's like they have no reason to leave. It's like.
It's not the Vince times where it's just like I'm here.
And plus, with Triple H being in charge, things are better. They've talked about they both praised the things, the changes that Triple H has done to make not just a product better, but WWE overall behind the scenes better.
And Seth is a Triple H guy through and through.
Yeah.
So he was definitely one of the main like newer wrestlers that he took under his wing. He does the pedigree, he all that stuff. And just kind of how his whole heel run was kind of a very cerebral assassin type of run too. Mm-hmm. So it was basically very, very in Triple H thing. But the other thing she was saying is, and kind of reports coming out that hey, I guess hell has froze over because CM Punk and Seth Rollins are actually getting along, at least for doing segments and stuff. Which I mean, people don't get along all the time, but if them coming out and saying, and I think it's just them saying like, hey, CM Punk isn't a locker room asshole, basically.
Yeah.
He's fine now. I don't know.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre was also alluded to. It's like that having that. It's like because like we're gonna go in more in depth when we get to Raw here in a bit, but they would not. You. It's like you could not be able to pull off that that three-way face-off they did on Raw without them, being not only be on the same page, but even though they may have certain maybe real life issues with each other, it's like they are able to put that aside to do what's most important is that is entertain us the fans, and it's like and you gotta it's like that's what you want to hear. It's like, and hey, who knows if things are improving, and Punk's showing people that it's like no, it's like we can work together, we can get along, it's like we don't have to be best friends, but it's like we're co-workers, let's get let's go out there and put on the best show.
Yeah, no, I mean at the end of the day, it's professional wrestling, right? It's not just wrestling. And that's the one thing that's always kind of crazy with all the but it's the thing is that it's a machine. They know how to go through all that. The locker room has a certain culture. Obviously it's different now. Back from when, there was good, like Undertaker, we're playing video games now. Like who cares about that? But the culture, they know how, at the end of the day, we're putting on a show. You're getting paid a lot of money rather than it's still kind of the wild, wild west at a certain point in AEW. And just in egos and stuff like that. Whereas you check your ego at Gorilla, and then you go out there and you do the damn thing and make money. Whereas it's just a little bit different in AEW. It's getting better, obviously. Danielson is definitely, you can kind of tell he's definitely taking that upon himself to make that locker room work. In that regard, and the Young Bucks seem to finally find their not place, but finally found their not mojo or anything like that, but they're at a good spot as far as not to overstep or anything. And if they finally and I will know for sure that the Young Bucks have finally taken that next step in understanding the business and not just ego, is if they actually get FTR at the end of the day. So if they play because that's the one thing that people kept giving them crap for back in the day. They kept trying to avoid FTR again, because people would always look at FTR as a better tag team, which to me they are, because they can do multiple styles. But I mean, the Young Bucks, it's like 1A, 1B when it comes to those two. But it's still the Young Bucks, just that's still kind of always hit their ego, is the fact that people were still saying that FTR was better than them. And you can kind of tell they avoid it. So hopefully the Young Bucks would take that next step in not humility or anything, but what they're doing right now is really good work. And AEW with that locker room right now, as far as we know, as far as the dirt sheets and stuff, because it might be WrestleMania season, so AEW unfortunately is taking a back burner. So, and with what's going on in WrestleMania build, the dirt sheets, that's not gonna get clicks right now. People care more about The Rock and what's going on with Mania. So maybe after Mania, it'll go right back to it. To AEW. I mean, obviously with they still had some other stuff. But with Sammy Guevara, Max Caster, they did have a little bit of controversy, but it's their typical. But they got rid of it, and then Jack Perry, Tony's not happy with Jack at all.
Well, that's very. I think that there's some legit issues going on there still.
Yeah. With that, and the last thing I had it in the tip of my tongue. The last thing I want to touch on. Oh yeah, about AEW. They removed all MJF stuff. They removed him from the roster, and they removed him. His merch and stuff, I think, was taken off. I didn't look into it, and pretty much that's all that was said. There wasn't any. No one. Sean Ross Sapp. No one really dug into that report. So, do you think this is something that should raise an eyebrow? Not a people's eyebrow, but an eyebrow nonetheless. That's a bad dad joke. So yeah, Gifts is saying, don't worry. But I'm just still bringing it up to you. The
Yeah,
fact
no,
that Sean Ross hasn't gone into it, I think this is still just a thing to get him talking.
yeah. I don't think
This is a
gonna
Booker
work.
story. I would put it
Yeah.
that way. This is a Booker story.
Yeah. No, we've seen stuff like this before where it's like, they're keeping their cards close to the vest with the MJ stuff. I think for good reason, because they want whatever he's going to come back from injury to AEW. Because if he was going to go to WWE, he would already that would have leaked out at some point. I guarantee it would. The fact that we haven't heard anything. Also, word is that he was in Boston, but he wasn't in the arena. He showed up in Boston to meet with Tony and them, kind of covertly, as the word is. So I think people are worried about nothing. I think he's going to be back in AEW. It's like they just want to try to. They really want to keep this on the QT and hush hush as much as possible, so that when he does return from injury, whatever that's going to happen, hopefully in the near future, who knows if he's been able to rehab and he's can avoid because his goal was trying to avoid surgery because that would have put him out for most of the year. So if if the rehab has worked, hopefully he'll be back soon and we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Giff here on a couple things he's saying. AEW's mojo is back. I'm feeling that.
Look,
funny thing. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, our first T-shirt here for Ruckus Wrestling. It's a Booker story.
Right. Which is a whole lot of nothing.
Right.
Clickbait.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't say they don't. They can definitely use MJF, and having MJF is a good thing. But right now, the storylines, everything is cooking. It sucks that he's not there, but it's not causing a problem. There's not like a glaring hole.
No.
They've been doing a lot of other good stuff and building up some other good storylines. So that, and plus, Kenny's out. Kenny's not there either. It's like, so that's, two of their best guys are out right now. So it's like,
yeah. And do speak about Kenny. Do you think him doing a stream to keep himself relevant, especially with like he started his stream pretty much right when Okada came, and they started doing the Elite with Okada. I think that's not only just because it gets Kenny out there, and it's something Kenny can do, but also it keeps that storyline going without being on television.
Yeah,
like it's just using what is there to put out content without pushing Kenny's situation.
Yeah, and also Hangman's on a little bit of a personal sabbatical, taking some time off. So it's like, that some of their star power is not there, and they're still doing great. So and that's a good thing. It's like
swerve to the moon, man. Swerve to the moon.
Right. Like, Charlotte not being at WrestleMania, that's obviously a damper for WWE, but it's like they've got more than enough to make up for her not being on the card. It's like, thanks to the wealth of talent they got. So, so yeah, I am not worried about MJF right now.
No. Any other comments here before we get to SmackDown?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, let's get to it.
All right, here we go.
Hello, here is a recap of what happened on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. We opened with a match between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. And Santos Escobar picked up win thanks to some interference from Dirty Dom Mysterio, setting up something that may happen at WrestleMania. We'll see. We had Bayley Naomi chatting backstage, Bayley thanking her for helping, and Bianca Belair coming up and criticizing her for dragging Naomi into problems that she created, that she has to deal with, and all that stuff. But Naomi took Bianca to go for a walk and talk to her, and followed up with the commercial, which was kind of neat. Saying that, Bianca, how she feels about Bayley is valid, but can't change the past, and she knows she has her back and she can't do this by herself, and neither could Bianca. Making some good points there. Then we had a qualifying match and determined who was going to get into the six-pack ladder match for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller against the Good Brothers. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller pulling off the upset here. Thanks to some cheating. So OC pick up an L. We see that Io Sky's attacked Bayley before a match with Naomi backstage. And Io ends up beating Naomi with the moonsault after match. Damage Control goes for a beatdown on Naomi, thanks to Asuka missing her. Bianca tries to make a save, is able to put up a bit of a fight, but then the numbers game overwhelm her. And once again, Damage Control stands tall. And then we get a video package announcing that Jade Cargill has officially signed with SmackDown and will be making her first appearance as a member of the SmackDown roster next week. Big deal, big news. We see Bianca and Naomi trying to recover from the Damage Control beatdown with Tiffany Stratton walking by talking trash. Then we had Kevin Owens running into Pretty Deadly in Nick Aldis' office, which set up a tag team match between KO and Orton against Pretty Deadly for next week. A segment where AJ Styles was being interviewed from his home, but it was interrupted by Alien Knight showing up outside, and they got into a brawl, and the cops were called and took Alien Knight away. And announce team said that AJ did not press charges, so Alien Knight is out of jail. Then we had the other qualifying match for the evening, the tag team mini tournament. Authors of Pain against the Street Profits. Street Profits came on top of this one. Then we got to the main event segments, one-on-one confrontation between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Roman came out alone just with Heyman. Cody came out alone. So, back and forth. Hyping up WrestleMania, and Cody had some decent lines. He had a weird moment where he was trying to shake his hand, but anyway, eventually, Roman revealed that of course he lied, and Soul Skull and Jimmy Uso showed up to attack Cody, but Cody showed that he wasn't stupid because Jey Uso and Seth Rollins come out of the crowd to back him up, forcing the Bloodline to back off for now, and that's how the show ended. So that's all that happened this week. This week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about the final segment, but I got on there at the end. It was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was.
Unfortunately, Roman is slowly becoming the fourth guy someone pointed out on Twitter. He's the fourth guy in the
if you didn't know any better, you'd think that it's like Cody versus The Rock is like the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This thing's
Yeah.
built.
Yeah. And that's just like the one thing is like, oh well, they're finally getting a standoff, but Roman going on Pat McAfee is still helping, but you still and him, because the thing is Roman's such a good talker now that they don't have him so held down and scripted.
Yeah, they've had Rock do more of the heavy lifting in this whole thing.
Yeah. And
which I get.
Yeah,
but
I get. And at the end of the day, it stinks, but you typically get Roman a lot more than The Rock throughout the year, even though The Rock has shown up a lot. And I can watch that. I don't know how many times I've watched that new Rock entrance. I mean, Jesus Christ, what production on that. But with this show, that ending, it was just kind of like, hey, there's Seth. Hey, there's Jay. And then they just stared at each other. And I'm like, and they really didn't, and Cody and Roman really didn't say much. It's almost like they should have put the title on him before.
Yep.
With that. Now, that being said, the one thing that did get me excited is kind of what you were talking about. Jade's going to be a part of the Bayley stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's very clear because they already because Damage Control was talking smack to Jade backstage, like in the last week or two. So, no doubt she's going to get pulled into the fight against Damage Control to even the odds, because it's like they've had the numbers game. It's like Bailey, Naomi, Bianca, they're outnumbered. It's like Damage Control has had the upper hand for quite a while. So, what perfect way to have the baby faces finally get an equalizer in this situation is in the form of your new superstar Jay Cargill. So I could totally see them doing Jade, Bianca, and Naomi versus the Kabuki Warriors in Dakota at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and there's no update on Asuka's situation.
No word that she's gonna miss any time. So hopefully that means that the injury was just a minor thing, and she'll be able to, because they haven't had her wrestle in the last 2 weeks, so they're probably just having her take it a little easy. So, and it looks like she's walking fine, so I don't know it's a limp or anything. So, they're probably just playing it safe.
All right. Well, I was glad to see the Street Profits get the win, because having a ladder match without Montez Ford is a travesty.
Yeah.
On that. Absolutely. And I was interested that they went with Grayson and Austin Theory for the rest.
As soon as that happened, that's when I knew that OC is going to be winning the number one contender match on NXT this week, and they're going to face the Wolf Dogs at Stand and Deliver, because that means that they'd have to do double duty on the weekend.
Mm-hmm. No, Tama Tonga's that's gotta be where you bring Tama out, because those three together is such good chemistry.
Because I'm telling you, it's like Braun needs to be on SmackDown full time, so they got to get the titles off him and Corbin. So the Good Brothers are taking the titles.
Yes, the Good Brothers. I think that's a good decision. Because Good Brothers are. I've always been a fan of Carl. I wish they would let him go a little bit more in the ring, because I think he really has that talent. From what he showed in the G1 years back, the dude can hang with the best of them. But it's just, him and Doc to just kind of chill out.
Exactly. Yeah. This build, even though there's other teams involved, the most smack talk has been between Good Brothers and the Wolf Dogs. So it's very clear where they're going. It's too sweet time.
Yeah, for sure. Remember they had the titles for a hot second in there, but that's definitely time for them. I'm being ignorant right now. Has I forget their freaking name, but is Trenton, not Butch, but Pete Dunne, have they already qualified?
Yeah, it's So
what's their name called? I'm still getting used to what they're doing.
The New Catch Republic.
Thank you.
Is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and the LWO, I think it was Legato. So next week it's gonna probably be Legato versus Street Profits and New Catch versus Waller and Theory, and whichever teams win those two matches, they get the final two spots in the six-way ladder match.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe. It just depends. Most of the time they're trying to build up stars, but if Carl, I just think Carl is not in that part of his career to put the championship on him. But stranger things have happened.
Yep.
But I wouldn't mind it. I'm a big fan of him, and he keeps popping out kids, so he's got to stay employed. He's
also they're still definitely teasing that Bianca and Tiffany are going to have some kind of feud, because she was enjoying mocking Bianca after the Damage Control beat down backstage. Toodles!
That match is gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, when it happens, that's gonna be a fucking.
It's gonna be the second best women's match of all WrestleMania weekend. Yeah. On that. Anything else on SmackDown that kind of stuck out?
It's interesting. Yeah, I was wondering. I knew something was up with. I was like, why are they having Mysterio versus Escobar on SmackDown and not Mania. It's like, but then the Dom interference, like, okay, all right, now they're building up to something a little bit more bigger, probably for Mania. So,
and we'll get to it next, but you got to do something with Andrade because right now it's just kind of.
I think I think that's coming. It's like
I'm just at this point kind of what Becky Lynch's comments were about Triple H. It's like I'm going to see it to the end.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it to the end.
Yeah, it was an okay episode. It wasn't mind blowingly good. It was fine.
Okay. Well, I think I can't wait anymore. We got to go to.
Let's get to Raw because Raw is where things were fucking.
This was. I couldn't believe the crowd gave it a standing ovation. Did you see that video? At the end of Raw, when it faded to black, they literally showed the arena and that people were just cheering for a while and like gave it a standing ovation at the end of it.
Yeah, that's fucking earned.
Yeah. So let's get to the best show best top down, and I mean freaking JD McDonough killed it. All right, here we go.
Hello, here we are with a recap of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, live from Chicago, Chi-Town, the Windy City. We opened with American Nightmare Cody Rhodes coming out to cut a promo, going over what happened on SmackDown. Had some really good lines, especially about how like he dresses like a champion because the real champion isn't around, and trashing The Rock. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, The Rock appears, walks in the ring, whispers something in Cody's ear, which leaves Cody a little disturbed, and he leaves the ring. And this was running thing out of the show because they asked Rock in the back what he said to Cody, and he was like, "No, you ask Cody. I'm not going to tell you." Judgment Day was making plans about sending a statement tonight. Told JD McDonough to go out and beat Ricochet. Well, JD McDonough was not able to beat Ricochet. Ricochet beat JD McDonough with Shoot Star Press, despite the efforts of Dirty Dom Mysterio at ringside trying to help him. CM Punk was shown on stage as he was going to be coming out for an interview soon. And he came out to a big ovation. And this was the beginning of a fantastic segment. CM Punk just ripped into a bunch of people. Seth, Drew, took shots at The Rock and Roman Reigns. Some great lines. Then Drew McIntyre came out to respond. There's so many fantastic back and forth stuff going on here. We can go more in depth afterwards. Then Seth Rollins came out to join the party. And he and Punk had words, and he had words with Drew. Lots of great back and forth between all three men. Eventually, Punk revealed that he was going to be at the commentary desk for the title match between Seth and Drew at WrestleMania. And then Drew was pissed and was yelling at Punk that he wouldn't get the last word, but Seth took the opportunity to super kick Drew in the face and then gave him the stomp. Then we had Candice LeRae beating Iva down 2 minutes when she faked an injury and did a surprise roll-up putting her foot on the ropes to steal the win. DIY took on New Day in a match, but ended up being no contest because Judgment Day came out and destroyed both teams. And then they went and grabbed R-Truth, who was at the commentary desk, dragged him in the ring, and beat him down too. Cody was asked what The Rock said backstage. He said he wouldn't repeat it. Got to cut an interview talking about Sami Zayn. Then we had Andrade El Idolo defeating Giovanni Vinci in a match. Rhea Ripley came out with Dominic to talk, and Becky Lynch joined her, and they had a really good face-off. Good stuff between the two of them. Becky got really upset and emotional when Rhea brought her daughter into it, saying that she's going to call her mommy. And then Becky then dropped Dirty Dom with a punch like a bad habit, and then her and Rhea got into a big brawl that had to be broken up by referees and officials. Good stuff. Then we had Bronson Reed taking on Sami Zayn, and thanks to the distraction of Gunther, Bronson Reed beat Sami Zayn with the Tsunami Splash. Sami's name was very angry at stage. Chad Gable came up and said to him that, he thinks he needs to do a different approach. And he's got an idea of maybe it can help him. He's going to try to defeat Gunther at WrestleMania, and Sami's interested. Then we had our main event, which knew something was up. Is out of nowhere, Jey Uso taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. Jey Uso ended up winning with a spear, but what was more important is that the Bloodline showed up during the match. Looked like they were going to attack Jey, Solo, and Jimmy. That brought Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins out to attack them. Cody fought Solo in the back. Seth took out Jimmy, but Drew McIntyre took advantage and came out to attack Seth, gave him Future Shock DDT on the outside, taking him out of the equation. And as Cody was fighting both Solo and Jimmy in the back, The Rock showed up and blindsided him. Rock took him outside into the back parking lot, just beat the crap out of Cody. Cody was bleeding. Rock talking trash, took the weight belt and put his blood on it it had Mama Rose written on it, just like he said he was going to do. And he promised Cody that he would see hard times, just like his dad used to talk about. And that he said that it didn't have to be this way, but now it's the only way, and left Cody a bloody, beaten up mess to close out an excellent episode of Monday Night Raw. Oh my God. It's like,
Just
so fucking good.
so good. Oh my God.
It's one of the best Raws in ages, man.
Let me give let's give out some awards here.
Yeah.
Okay. Best Supporting Actor Award nominee, The Rain.
Yeah.
That should definitely
talk about like unintended extra touch that was not planned. It's like that the Rain added a really cool element to the whole segment.
This is the best, most slick production of Raw I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's like the camera work and stuff is just like it's just like it's such a breath of fresh air right now.
Can you not tell that Kevin Dunn's gone? Actually, trying something and it works. It's not that shaky cam and 700 cuts.
Exactly, yeah. From top to bottom, this was a really damn good episode of Raw. So much stuff worked. This felt like, yes, the build to WrestleMania. This is the road to WrestleMania, and it's now it's really heating up. They really needed this with just under 2 weeks to go before the show. It's like just so much good stuff. I mean, so many great lines. Like, normally I would complain about a lack of wrestling. I mean, there was matches, but there wasn't anyone that was really like super long. But the non-wrestling stuff nailed it for everything that they were building toward for the various stuff. It's like everything with Raw, Cody, and the Bloodline, incredible. The three-way face-off between CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins was chef's kiss, fucking grand slam. It's like, and the work got out. It's like they just was like they gave him an outline, but said, these are just hit the bullet points, but otherwise, just go for it. And you could tell because, man, CM Punk was dropping some bombs.
Yeah. Oh, okay, we'll talk about that one first.
Also, I got to give a shout out to CM Punk with the very sly shout out to Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
He have to Pat McAfee. He goes, "I'm sorry, Pat, I don't listen to your show. I'm more of a drive-by experience kind of guy." For those who don't know, that's the name of Cornette's two primary podcasts is the Jim Cornette Experience and Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru. So it's like, CM Punk make a little shout out to Corny.
Yeah. Just kind of go over that segment. CM Punk actually did go a little bit over. When he first came out before Drew's music hit.
So some stuff had to be cut and shaved back a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then obviously Drew came out and said that, and then basically CM Punk, come on, you son of a bitch, and then just all that stuff. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And we'll get to Ricochet in that freaking Canadian Destroyer. We'll get to that match altogether because that match was. I can't believe I'm sitting here looking at it like a 4 3/4 star match.
Triple H is taking the handcuffs off Ricochet, and he's out there. He's out there kicking ass.
It's one of his guys. and Ricochet, when you let him work and he doesn't do all the flipping and actually like tells a story, which I didn't realize how good of a seller JD McDonough was until this match. Because he looked like he died when that Canadian Destroyer happened.
Yeah, no, it's like, he sold that Canadian Destroyer. The fact that what made him awesome was that JD McDonough was going for his finisher, and Ricochet countered that into the Canadian Destroyer, and he sold it like he'd been shot with dead. It's like,
that match and the way that match. Okay, but we're going to be all over the place. I don't care. This freaking Raw was amazing. It's one of the ones I'm just going to like randomly go watch just to be like, oh yeah, this ring is awesome. And so they literally, the way they shot it, the one shot that they did from like that first rope, where they basically like panned the whole way around. And this is a JD McDonough Ricochet match, which if you told me that this match and the way they shot it to put this much production into it to make, to do these one shots, it takes a lot of the producer, whoever produced this match, shout out to them, whoever, and then JD and Ricochet to go out there, especially with Ricochet, who can botch some things here once in a while just because of the type of stuff that he does. And the fact that this flowed so freaking well, they hit their points exactly where they needed to hit. They sold like they sold it. It actually told a story, and it wasn't your typical, it wasn't rushed, and they gave them time, and it was perfect. Just that match was just so freaking good, and it was just a random match on Raw. Kind of. I mean, it is more of the Ricochet would.
Well, it was a follow because he beat Dom, and then it's like no, JD, you go out, kick his ass. And it's like nope. It's like, so now Ricochet's become a thorn in Judgment Day's side. They got
And the only thing that is holding Ricochet back from being amazing is his mic skills are subpar at best.
Okay at best.
Yeah, so it's okay at best. But that match was that's what Ricochet can do.
Yeah.
And that's why people kept saying, well, Ospreay dodged a bullet because he just beat Ricochet. No, Ospreay can talk. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Between the two of them. But yes, that's how good Ricochet is.
Yeah.
And shout out to JD for being can sell like no other and just put on such a solid match with that. Jumping back to the CM Punk stuff, just going over, I liked how he, and Jeremy Miller's kind of referencing it, how he said Vince, he kind of shouted out, he kind of winked about Vince McMahon without saying it, because he was saying he's the chosen one. He goes, who called you the chosen one? And Drew's just sitting there like, you son of a bitch, I can't say it. Like, he had that smile on his face. He was just like, I can't say it.
And word is that people, there was when he did that, but then after they kept going, it was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Not like it that it was a bad thing. They were just like oh, he's like, he went there. But he, who he was talking about without having to say his name, because Vince was the one who declared Drew as the chosen one when he debuted. So it's like, that was a really great job. It's like my boy was some fucking he was going he was throwing, they were just throwing haymakers at each other. It's like Punk, you talk about being straight edge and everything, but you spent so much time in rehab.
Right. Don't look up my kill, you perv.
And when he was talking about how Punk completed him and stuff like that, it's like Punk's just like, oh my god, it's like.
And then he quoted the Eminem song "Stand" at the end before he got super kicked. Like,
yep. I love how Punk was like, can you please boo this guy? Can you boo this guy so you can shut him up?
Right.
And then Seth came out, and oh man,
Punk's reaction to Seth was,
that
thing's gonna be gift. All the time. Shout out, get Taylor, make it happen.
That's meme. That was meme material when he heard Seth's music, and he's just like, oh, fuck,
just like banging his head. I'm like, god damn it, this guy again. And then Seth with the if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be at WrestleMania. Like that whole thing to Punk.
And it is such a great job because number one, Punk started off by making it clear that when he gets back from injury, he's coming for Drew. He's got unfinished business with Seth, and he also made it clear he wants a piece of Roman down the line as well. So that was fantastic. And then they did such a great job of building up to him being on the commentary desk because Seth and Drew.
Oh, by the way,
wanting to be
shout
there,
out to us. Shout out to us. We
We
predicted that. We predicted that.
Yeah. Like they both want to rub it in his face that I'm going to have my WrestleMania moment and you're not. It's
Right.
like, and so that adds a whole new extra cool wrinkle to Seth and Drew's title match on night 2 with Punk on commentary.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, yeah, don't look at my skirt, you perv.
Right. And then he's talking about you two trolls and like all that stuff. Because the thing was, he kind of alluded to what.
Oh, and when Punk swore, which got bleeped,
PG, brother.
Drew's like, PG, Punk.
Yeah, PG, brother. He just
PG,
sitting there,
brother.
just with his legs crossed. And I didn't realize how like him and Drew are actually like really cool, really tight. Him and Punk aren't? Isn't that true? Like,
yeah, no,
Drew and Punk are really tight.
Yeah. No, they're cool. It's Seth and Punk that have had real life issues between them.
Seth has kind of had some. You kind of go back like Punk and Seth are kind of they're the oil and water, but Seth always is kind of like he does his thing and he's super professional because like he didn't get along. I mean, no one got along with Matt Riddle, but
and great mic drop stuff with. I also love like why don't you be the referee? But oh wait a minute, you can't count that arm that he got down and counted with the other arm. It's like it was just so fucking good.
And then freaking Drew like kind of ripped and like actually like didn't do cheap heat. Like he got heat with the weapon and being in Chicago.
Yep. And this was also I think this was the highest. I think this was the highest rated segment.
3.2 million at one point.
Yeah.
Just for that segment.
It shows people drew people in, and great stuff at the end where Punk had the nice final line, and Drew's like, no, you don't get the final line, and kept mouthing off at him, and then finally Seth's like, all right, I'm going to shut you the fuck up,
right.
and then him and Punk had the stare down on the walkway. It's like just a home run motherfucking segment from all three of them.
That thing was awesome.
But that was not only the most. It's like that was not also the only awesome face off the evening. Rhea and Becky's face off is exactly what needed to help kick this feud up a notch. It's like especially when Rhea brought her daughter into it, and Becky was like, "It's like, oh, you have just crossed the line. You should not have crossed," and went off on her and getting emotional. It was like okay, yes. And then she dropped when Dominic got in her face, and she dropped him like a bad habit.
He basically said he
stiff.
It was stiff.
In slow mo, it looked like that was like a legit punch that she like you see in UFC. You're like, oh damn.
Yeah. And hey, breaking news: Dom can take a punch. So, with that, and then also too,
that's a good question. I don't. Man.
Have they said anything?
They haven't said which night Becky and Rhea's title match is going to be. Becky said openly she's okay if they actually open one of the nights because she's never opened WrestleMania before. Because
they might open night 1. I think they're going to open night 1.
That would be a great way to kick off night 1. It would be with Becky and Rhea, honestly.
Yeah. I think they're going to kick off night 1 with Becky and Rhea. Just because, I just think that's a solid night 1 opener.
It's like I've been looking forward to this, and it's like this is exactly what it needed because that it's like the fans were into the whole segment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they need. The only problem is that it's like they need to make Rhea a little bit more dastardly because she still is coming off as the heel, but the fans want to cheer her, which is why Dominic was out there. Because when Dominic is there, she doesn't get treated like a full babyface. And
especially after her viral video at the live show, so people love her really.
One thing that I found interesting near the end, after Becky dropped Dom, and they started brawling, and she then threw Becky into post. She stopped attacking Becky and went up to check on Dom. So I was like, that's something that Becky could exploit, but it's like like as a weakness. It's like
Right.
it's like you're more worried about you. It's like Dom than you are about like trying to destroy me. It's like, where's your priorities? It's like, so that's something that she can use as ammunition against Rhea for sure. I was like, they made sure to focus on that. It's like, because she completely took her eyes off Becky, and that allowed Becky to come back and just start beating the hell out of her again. It's
Right.
like, so.
Yeah, and we all agree that Rhea's going to win. So,
Yeah.
But and then also too, kind of going into like the whole her and Dom thing. She was on. I only saw this bit. I haven't watched the actual full episode of her on Impulsive. But they asked her about like her and
Yeah,
Dom.
eventually they got to break her away from Judgment Day. It's like when Becky came back from having her daughter at SummerSlam 21 and turned heel by sucker punching Bianca and beating her in like 10 seconds. That I get. She's talking about the heel turn. She wanted to do it. They wanted to try it, and she was fine because it was something different to be a heel for a little bit. But it was hard for the fans because the fans love Becky so much they didn't want to boo her.
Yeah.
And even though Bianca, they fucking love Bianca, they had a hard time booing Becky even though she was acting like the heel. It's like with the big time Beck's persona, the heel persona. She gave it effort, but it was tough because it's like the fans are like, oh, we love you, Becky, so much. We don't want to boo you, but it's the same thing's happening with Rhea now. She is so popular, they don't want her to be a heel.
Right.
Like, they want to cheer her.
Right. And then when she does like the stink face and stuff to Nia Jax over at the live event, it's like, how can you dislike that? Like, it's hilarious. It's awesome.
That's why Bianca's not going to be a heel. I don't think for quite a while because she's the fans still love her too much.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, remember the 2 weeks before when Bayley was getting beat down, they were chanting Bianca to come out to save her. They were chanting EST, EST. It's like, yo, Bianca, come out and help her. It's like, so it's like, she still, the fans still love Bianca. So it's like, when someone gets that popular, it's really hard to have them go heel. It's like you gotta have them do some really dastardly stuff to get the fans to turn on them, because otherwise, like you're gonna get this like 50-50 feeling from the crowd. It's like, yeah, you're the heel, but we don't want to boo you. I guess we have no choice. And someone were like, "No, I still want to cheer you." So you get the mixed reaction.
Yeah.
I
I think Rhea does need the belt right now.
think a little bit longer. It's like.
And then, we can move on to this. Yeah, Andrade's match. Again, like the show was just
Giovanni was really good. Yeah,
Giovanni. That was the loudest chop I've ever heard in quite some time. Oh
Jesus, that's like Gunther level chop. Like,
yeah, I didn't realize he had that in. But I always forgot Andrade's going hitting the in the ropes and doing like the pose thing. Just how good he really is in that match.
All right. You froze there for a second, but you're good. I was worried for a second.
Oh, no. Okay. This was like him doing in the ropes, like he does the pose, and then like just how smooth this match went. And it was just really, Andrade finally, like Jeremy said, Andrade finally had a good match, because I'm like, yes, this is the Andrade that I remember from NXT. In some of his matches on Raw and SmackDown when he first got to the roster, and then Vince was like, "Oh, this is not good shit. I'm gonna do this," stuff like that. So,
all right, and like it's like the Gunther Sammy build stuff was good.
Do you agree with that? With Sammy losing?
It's okay because Gunther is playing mind games with him.
Okay, I wasn't mad about it either, and it keeps Gable involved, so I wasn't mad about it either.
Yeah, so now we got like a Rocky situation where Gable wants to be the Apollo to Sammy's Rocky to help him train to beat the Monster Champ. So whether that's going to succeed, I don't know about that.
Probably not, but who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened, but
But then. I love how people were saying out Jordan. It's like some people I saw were like, why is Jay versus Shinsuke the main event? What's so, and then when the Bloodline showed up, that's when I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Before we get to that segment, thank you, Jeremy, for bringing that up. R-Truth, go to commercial.
Yeah, I know. I love R-Truth is like, no, go to commercial, go to commercial.
Yeah.
When Judgment Day was coming for him.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing, and I now realize why we have the ladder match with a bunch of other tag teams than just them versus Judgment Day, just because they're still a comedy act, and you can still do it with a comedy act, but the way R-Truth and Miz have won, like R-Truth getting knocked out and then just falling on the person to get the 3 count and just stuff like that, like they haven't. Yes, it's going to end up that probably Awesome Truth is going to win it.
Wants to shine,
but it's not going to be a total burial of R-Truth and Miz being just that dominant.
My fingers are crossed that somehow DIY wins this ladder match.
Yeah, I know. Same thing of cross my fingers. Roxanne is the main event. No, okay, we just know it's not going to happen. Not right now. But no, you know. On that. So.
Yeah, Giff, I could definitely see. I think Bronson definitely deserves, like, because he had a hell of a match against Gunther for IC title a couple months back. So I'd like to see him get back. I'd like to see him get like an IC title run, give him a good like mid card title run, because he's really good.
And he's got that, and I always forget every time he's on the, like, he does a little promo or like or a vignette or something like that. Like, he's got that charisma on the mic.
He does, yeah. He's got like a presence to him. It's like,
he's got a presence to him, and just like like when he bloodied his nose and he took that and just wiped it across his chest and stuff. Like, he understands the moment. So I was like, at first I'm like, oh, just some big meaty man slap a meat type guy. And then I like, actually, when I started paying attention, I was like, no, he's got those little intangibles that you would want in somebody that you put the belt on that can make it work, and not just some big monster guy. Like, he has some other personality on top of just
absolutely
go out Hulk smash type shit.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else before we get to that last segment?
No, let's get to the how the show ended, because like, well, oh my god, it's like talk about the cherry on top of excellence. So it's like, then you had this. So it's like it was well done, like the here's the bloodline, they're going to go after Jay, and then as expected, Cody and Seth ran out to help Jay, attack the bloodline, and then Drew coming back to get payback on Seth for knocking him out with the stomp earlier, taking advantage and attacking him. That made perfect sense. And then it's like Cody's doing his best to fight them off, and then the Rock blindsides him out of nowhere. Now, I saw some people complain that Cody should have maybe gotten to fight back a little more. I get that, but it fits with what's going on. It's like they like I said, they are stacking the deck against Cody as much as possible so that how is he going to win the title for Roman? How is he going to beat Roman? With it's like everything that they're doing, what the Rock is doing. And then it's like, with the tag match and everything and the potential for bloodline rules, it's great to set up. And Rock was just killing it. The whole thing, just the trash talk, it's like, I'm sure Cody was loved that Triple H gave him the green light to get some juice. It's like, get a little color. But of course, there was the big Easter egg that everyone was talking about. They made sure to focus on one of the production trucks out in the back during this whole segment that had Stone Cold and John Cena's face on it multiple times. So you're wondering, like, wait a minute. It's like you would expect the current superstars to be on those production trucks out back. Why would they have one with Cena and Stone Cold on it, and especially make sure to focus on it as much as possible? So nothing. It's like it's that there. I don't believe in coincidences. It's like that feels like foreshadowing.
Yeah, and dude, do you understand how giddy I will be and how much I will pop when we get that stare down of Stone Cold when that glass breaks and The Rock looks up just like, oh shit, not this guy.
Right. It's like, just picture this. It's because it's like, spoiler alert. Roman and Rock are going to win the main event tag match on night 2. It's going to be bloodline rules. So just imagine it. It's a point where all the bloodlines in the ring, they're beating the hell out of Cody, trying to kill him. He won't die. And they're taunting him, saying no one's, and maybe even add into, like, they show in the back that Seth and Jay have been attacked. so they you know, it looks like they can't be able to come out and help Cody. He's all by himself. He's outnumbered. Looks like it's over. And then Cena comes out.
Right.
Cena's music hits. He comes out. And then the glass shatters and Stone Cold comes out. That place will lose its motherfucking mind 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Even more lose their mind if you get Rock and Stone Cold face to face in the ring, facing each other down. They will lose their motherfucking shit. Especially if they.
And then Limp Bizkit comes out and plays My Way, and just the whole thing.
You know, Stone Cold giving a stunner to the Rock just like old times. Everyone's going batshit crazy. So it's like an Avengers Assemble moment, and then maybe also Seth and Jay come out and help. It's like the rest of the Rock and everybody else in the bloodline is neutralized, and then Cody's finally able to take down Roman with the title, and they all celebrate together. It's like it's just picturing the crowd reaction for like Cena and Stone Cold coming out to help Cody against the bloodline, and this bloodline rules because anything goes. So it's like, oh my god, that place is going to lose its fucking mind.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. And like I said, when Aaron said that when Strong Style got back together for a little after that, after Ruckus' comments about the press conference didn't go over too well on the internet, and he kind of got ratioed. He was like, all right, let's get the boys together. And let's talk about this out. And basically Aaron Turner, shout out to him. He basically called it from the beginning, and it's looking like that's what they're going to do. Is having overbooked the crap out of it and have Stone Cold.
Exactly, Jeremy. It's like Stone Cold and Cena are 2 of the Rock's biggest rivals in his career.
Other than Triple H, who can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah. It's like he and Stone Cold had an amazing rivalry, amazing matches. They headlined WrestleMania more than once.
So did him and John Cena, technically.
And Rock and Cena had that year-long build from one WrestleMania to the other, you know, with their back-to-back matches. You know, it's like, who better to call in to help neutralize The Rock than 2 people who know him the best, who have beaten him, Stone Cold and Cena. And also Cena's got history with the bloodline on top of that. Solo Sikoa fucking destroyed him at was a Crown Jewel, I think it was. So he's got a history with the bloodline. After what Solo did to him, you know he'll be more than happy to screw the bloodline over one more time as payback. You know, just imagine him like take it out like Solo. The fans will lose their shit. It's like payback is a bitch, motherfucker.
Right. But the thing is what has Solo done since he destroyed John Cena?
Unfortunately, nothing.
A couple things about just another thing about Raw. What did they switch up to the Titantron and stuff and like make it smaller because they sold so many tickets because there were people behind it? Is that why they did that, or is that something they're doing going forward?
I don't know. I didn't notice that, so I guess that's something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, because I noticed that the Titantron was obviously not as tall, and the way they shot The Rock coming out looked like Thanos appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like they're making Cody. They're doing a Daniel Bryan like he's the ultimate underdog. The odds are impossibly stacked against him. How the hell is he supposed to win the championship with all this stuff, all these roadblocks, all these obstacles, and the Rock with The Rock on top in his way? How is he supposed to win? So it's like you're invested to see what's gonna happen, and so I think it also was more clear after what The Rock did. They will risk major backlash if Cody doesn't beat Roman on night 2.
Yeah. We've people have been throwing that out there.
I don't think so. At this point, I don't think Seth is turning on Cody. That it's like he's been there, he's been helping. It's like he wasn't there to help him because fucking Drew McIntyre attacked him and took his ass out. It's like so. It's like and Drew's. And also another Easter egg that people pointed out that I saw, when Miz and Truth was talking with DIY.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Talking in the back, all the way in the background, Heyman was having a little chat with Drew McIntyre. I think we might see Drew have a role to play in the tag match on night one. Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe a deal has been struck.
Yep. But there's something about that Hollywood Rock theme, dude. It just,
Yeah.
Especially when they do it with the bum, 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 and then they go into it. It's just so good. And then he hits that beat right with the way they did it. Like he just turns his head as soon as that simple crashes, and that in his interest. That's just great stuff. So that, again, just good job, Raw. That was so freaking good.
Yes.
Yeah, just a 5 out of 5. All those
best Raw of the year, one of the best Raws in
quite some time. Even though Raw's been pretty solid all year. I mean, Giff said that when's the last time we had a bad Raw? Raw after Mania.
Yeah, this wasn't this was like home run to Grand Slam level of Raw.
Yeah.
It's like
it just.
Then we have more fun stuff to talk about now with NXT.
Sure. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, but before the NXT, we have to do AEW, which again, still it's doing pretty well. It's on its own.
And so AEW had a pretty good show this week too.
Yep. So let's go into that. Hopefully, I click on the right thing.
All right, here's what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. We opened the show with Katsuyori Shibata taking on Will Ospreay. Fantastic match as we expected. Hard hitting, lots of great stuff. Will Ospreay picked up victory with a hidden blade, and both men showed respect to each other and shook each other's hand afterwards. Will Ospreay is very over right now with the AEW fans. Then we had a first round match in the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament to crown new champions. After Sting's retirement, vacated the titles with him and Darby. Private Party taking on the Young Bucks. Lots of back and forth action here, but lots of shenanigans going on. But at the end, the Young Bucks pick the victory with an EVB trigger. Move on to the next round. Showed a pre-tape of Darby hanging out with Tony Hawk, saying that he was going to climb Mount Everest for Tony's charity before he broke his foot in the match against Jay White, but he's got other ideas to raise money. Renee was talking with Chris Jericho and Hook backstage. And talking with each other, hyping each other up with some respect. Then we had Mercedes Moné come out, join the commentary desk as we had a fatal four-way for who number one contenders match for the TBS Championship at Dynasty. NJ versus Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue versus Will Nightingale. All kinds of action going on here. In the end, Will Nightingale ended up picking up the victory. Dr. Bob and NJ. She will now face Julia Hart for the TBS title at the pay-per-view. Julia Hart came out and attacked Will from behind. Julia and Mercedes had a stare down afterwards. Let's see. We had a little bit pre-taped bit with Tony Storm and Ben Mankiewicz of Turn Classic Movies. Funny stuff. Dustin Rhodes was confronted by the Butcher backstage, setting up a match for Rampage. Then we had the next match in the first round of the Tag Team Championship Tournament. The Best Friends, Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, taking on the Undisputed Kingdom of Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Best Friends picked up the victory. No sign of Wardlow out there at ringside to help Strong back up the Kingdom. So, Best Friends move on to the next round and will face the Young Bucks in the second round. Renee had a backstage interview with Kyle O'Reilly. Then we had a pre-taped message from Adam Copeland about his victory over Christian for the TNT title last week. And then finally, our main event. Number one contender match. Winner will face Samoa Joe for the World Championship at Dynasty. Konosuke Takeshita taking on Swerve Strickland. Excellent match, as you would expect from these two. In the end, Swerve was able to pick up the victory with the JML driver. And finally earning his one-on-one title match against Samoa Joe for the pay-per-view. Samoa Joe was backstage with Renee, cut a promo promising Swerve that when they sign the contract next week, he's going to make him understand very clearly that he is not ready to face him. He is not the man. And that's how we closed out things on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, pretty solid show.
It was a good show. Like the opening match and the closing match were badass. Some of the stuff in the middle was good. Some of it was like, eh. So like a good show, not like a home run, but still a lot of good stuff going on. So it's like I'm not gonna be too hard on it. So
are you like? Do you like the fact that they're just? I mean, I like that Mercedes is going after Julia Hart, but this is going to be a very quick. Let's just bury Julia Hart. Unfortunately,
I don't know what's going on here. I would. It's like it's interesting that they're teasing something between Julia and Mercedes, and she's not going after Tony. I think they want to because I think
they learned their lesson with Deanna.
Yeah,
and with that.
Yeah, I think because if you do Tony versus Mercedes, it's timeless. Tony's reign is over. It's that simple. I think they want to keep the title, the women's world title, on Tony for a little bit longer. So I think that's also, and plus also because Willow is been feuding with Julia. That draws Mercedes in because, like as Mercedes said, she's got unfinished business with Willow. Because she was wrestling her when she got injured and was out for all most of last year until just recently. So, even though it wasn't intentional in like storyline wise, she kind of like blames Willow for the injury. So it's like so she's got beef with Willow, but she also doesn't like Julie either. So it's like so it's gonna be interesting where that's gonna go. Yeah, Jeremy, I thought that I love the crossover with Turner Classic Movies with Tony. It's funny stuff. I love it when she's like tits up. I'm not saying that.
Right. And then do you like is it Mariah May? Is that her name? Her other person, as far as her.
Oh, Tony's lackey.
Tony's lackey dressing up as her old gimmick.
Yeah, because she's like the super Tony fan, so it makes sense.
Right. I'm saying like I like that touch is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like that little aspect.
Yeah. With that, kind of going off. I mean, obviously Swerve and Takeshi. Takeshi's.
Yeah, man, those guys were just like.
Oh my god. And
going all out.
Do you think the no Wardlow thing is a story?
I think so.
Okay.
Because remember what Adam Cole said last week. It's like it's Wardlow's job to make sure that the other members of the Undisputed Kingdom do well. Or I think more specifically maybe hold on to their gold. Mm-hmm. But it was very interesting. It was very weird that Wardlow was not out there. So it's like unless they don't address it, that's like a plot hole. So.
And did you count how many times they brought up that Private Party beat Young Bucks in another tournament?
Yeah, that's why I knew that they were going to win the match. Because it's very clear that they want the final. I think it's very clear the finals is going to be Young Bucks versus FTR, Part 4.
Yeah, and I mean John Moxley's bald, guys. That's so crazy.
Yeah, he went for the Simon Miller look.
Right. Yeah. On that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know. It is funny because it's like they can't like talk about his WWE years. It's like, yeah, it was a little weird. It's like they can talk about all ROH and stuff like that, and then go to AEW.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, it is a bit weird.
Yeah, nothing to see here. Nothing behind the curtain. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just go on. It's kind of the same thing of like CM Punk when he came to AEW. He was just like, my career died when I left Ring of Honor. I'm like, and now you're home. So it's just like whatever. And Mercedes Moné is home in a place that she's never been before. So she's home because they pay her the ducats. That's why she's home. The almighty dollar, and she is the CEO for a reason. Because she makes CEO money on that. So Anything else on AEW that you want to touch on?
No, a solid show. Getting some clear indications of what we're getting the cards starting to take shape. We got some title matches that are locked in and stuff. So, it's Dynasty's definitely shaping up to be another hell of a pay-per-view for AEWs.
Yep. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the show who made a terrible decision on their Stand and Deliver's main event, but it's whatever.
Oh, God. I knew you were going to say that. All right, here's a recap what happened on this week's episode of NXT as the build to Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania weekend continues. Show opened with Dijak taking on Shawn Spears. Dijak really over with the fans at this point, even though he's kind of still a heel. During the match, Joe Gacy popped up from under the ring and took away Shawn Spears' steel chair, which he didn't notice. And then when he went looking for it to try to use on Dijak, couldn't find it. Dijak took advantage and hit Feast Your Eyes to pick up the victory. Then we got a promo video from Roxanne Perez to hype up her title match. It's fully showing that she's gone heel, talking about how naive and pathetic that she used to be when she was a babyface, and saying that she doesn't hate Lyra, but she's coming to take back what rightfully belongs to her, the NXT Women's title, and that she's got to go down. Then we had Thea Hale taking on Jessamine Nix. Thea Hale picked up the victory with the Kimura lock. JC Jane attacked Thea after the match. Kiana James, and Izzy Dane came out to help her, and there was a 3-on-1 beatdown. But then Kalani Jordan and Fallon Henley came out to make the save, and the babyfaces were able to fight the heels off. So I smell a 6-woman tag coming. Then we had the first of multi-part video package hyping up the feud between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, leading to their one-on-one match at Stand and Deliver. Fantastic stuff. Nice touch with a lot of big-name roster stars like CM Punk, Randy Orton, and even Cody Rhodes commenting about the feud and what's been going on. Good stuff. Then we had Lil Vice had an open challenge for anyone to come out to face her because she feels she's that good. Well, Natalia, of all people, answered it, and Natalia ended up winning with Carmen Petrovic coming out to ringside to watch. Shawn Spears was leaving the arena, and Joe Gacy tossed his chair back to him from top of the roof, with Obafemi looking on. Then we had non-title match, Ilya Dragunov taking on Stax Lorenzo of the D'Angelo family. No surprise, Ilya picked up victory, of course, but Stax made an effort to hurt Ilya's hand, probably try to weaken him going into the title match against Tony at Stand and Deliver. Braun Breaker, Baron Corbin cut promo in the back, talking to each other, and they ran afoul of the Good Brothers. Said to make sure to take out Alpha Academy so that when the Good Brothers win the number 1 contender match next week, it'll just be them going one-on-one at Stand and Deliver. Interesting segment where Rich Holland came out and basically said that he was stepping away from in-ring competition indefinitely due to stuff that's been happening to him lately. Not sure if this is for real or not, or just part of the storyline. We'll find out. But fans really took it to heart, giving a thank you, Ridge chant. Then we had a video promo from Lyra Valkyria responding to Roxanne, saying that, it's like this has become a clear battle, good versus evil. And we had some really good comebacks to what Roxanne said, and that she's going to make sure that Roxanne does not get her hands on the title. Then we had Duke Hudson taking on Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs picked a victory. A good match. Dijak was on commentary watching. After the match, Obafemi came out and said that he was going to face both Josh Briggs and Dijak in a triple threat match for the North America title, Stand and Deliver. That should be pretty good. Meta4 took over the production truck and announced that they're going to be hosting Stand and Deliver. Oh boy. Then we had Wolf Dogs taking on Alpha Academy in a non-title match. If Alpha Academy wins, they would get added to the tag title match at Stand and Deliver in the main event. Wolf Dogs came out on top to keep it a one-on-one match. And then the 3 teams in the number 1 contender match next week, that's triple threat. Good Brothers, LWO, and Axiom Nathan came out. And Al got into a brawl with the Wolf Dogs to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT.
Those vignettes were awesome.
Oh, absolutely. The Trick Mellow one, multi-part one, like that's when WWE it just like kills it with those kind of like video hype packages for a match.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, the dueling promo video hype packages with Roxanne and Lyra hyping up their title match. Great stuff from both of them. Roxanne really did a good job with the heel stuff in this promo. Especially like, commenting about like, look how dumb and naive I used to be. It's like burying her old babyface persona and making it clear that how, it's like she's firmly on the dark side at this point and just like does not give a shit. It's like she wants the title back. That's all she cares about. And Lyra had some good comebacks. I especially like the line where like, you keep saying you didn't lose the title, Roxanne, but it actually did, and showed footage of the multi-woman ladder match where Indy won the title, with Roxanne was involved in. So it's like she did technically lose the title in a sort of way. So I was like, it was a good comeback from Lyra, and some good stuff from. Good jobs from both women hyping up this title match. It's like I was already looking forward to this match. But I was like, it's like, well done, ladies, well done. It's like lots of good stuff. Dijak's really gotten over with.
He is on a fire right now.
It's like I want to see him win a title soon, man. I don't think that Open Family just won the title, so I don't think he's losing it. But hopefully Dijak doesn't take the pin in this triple threat because Dijak deserves an even bigger push, man.
I would. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here's the fun part. When they were like, "Hey, an old like main roster person is gonna be on NXT," I was like, "It's gonna be Natty." I saw that from a mile away. I was joking. I was like, "Watch it be Natty." Like they're hopping it up and it's just Natty. And I was like, "Yeah," and then it's like Natty. I'm like, "Oh, come on, Sean, don't be that predictable." Like I know on this show we're batting like
HBK, we love you, but come on, man.
68% on like our predictions, but still.
Right.
Jeez. It's nuts there.
Man.
But no, and I like the Joe and is Ridge has anyone come out about Ridge? About what it actually happened?
From what I was digging up today, it sounds like it's not it smells like more like that this is part of a storyline angle and not legit. So we'll find out for sure soon, I think.
So why did Sean Spears like immediately stop doing anything with him?
Yeah, that's where it's like that's where I'm kind of like I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. Well, it's like we're just gonna have to wait and see. I was just like because I was like, wow, this is really heartfelt. Is this legit or is this like part of the storyline? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know with that
because they've already moved Spears into a feud with Gacy.
Yeah, it's who could be more spooky.
Yeah.
So it's just the spooky feud. That's basically what I'm calling it.
I tell you, they did a good job of building up the Stand and Deliver card. It's like North American title match that looks great. It's like women's title match we've already talked about. We're looking forward to that. I think Tony and Ilya will be a good title match.
It stinks for Ilya because it's supposed to be like the WrestleMania thing. Like there's supposed to be their WrestleMania but Trick. I know I've been like all no bias aside, like unbiased, like that is the match for that show. Is Trick and plus Mello's going to be going to the main roster like right after this show,
right?
So.
And when they announced just today that it is going to be the main event, Stand and Deliver. That was the right call. It's like normally you'd want the NXT title match to be the main event, but this storyline has been executed so well, and people are so invested. Trick is so over. Mello's very over, even though he's gone back to the back to the heel persona. Their match deserved the main event slot for a lot of reasons, and I'm glad they're doing it. Happy for both guys. I think they're gonna fucking kill it.
Yeah. So I mean, this has been the biggest blood feud since DIY.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is like level of DIY breakup kind of feud. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
good. Great stuff. Great stuff.
I like. It's nice seeing Thea Hill being back to going back to the baby face. I like that version of Thea. It's like, yeah, it's like it showed Jacy Jane was just playing with our log. It's like great line. I thought you were my friend, and then she like waited, like hesitated, like, oh, I feel bad, and then like had the face. We were never friends, and then just smacked her. It was just like, oh, so.
Yeah. Do you think Ilya and Tony kick off the show then? Since we're having Trick?
I don't know.
Why are you just gonna have it randomly? Like you're gonna either have the triple threat with Obi, and Sean.
I think maybe in the middle of the show. Maybe I don't know. I don't think they should open, but I'd say like have them be the middle match of the show and have another match happen before you get to Trick Mello.
Oh yeah, you're definitely not gonna go boom. You're not gonna go women, men, Trick. Like you're not gonna do that. You typically will.
Right now we got five matches locked in. We got Trick Mello as the main event. We've got Ilya versus Tony D for the NXT title. Lyra versus Roxanne for the women's title. We got a triple threat for the North American title, which that one I think it has potential to be really damn good with I think not with Dijak involved, and Briggs has gotten really good. Has gotten pretty good in the ring too, man. I was like, I really liked his stuff against Duke Hudson this week. He looked good. And then of course the tag match, which is going to be Wolf Dogs versus Good Brothers, which that'll be fun too. So it's like you already got 5 matches locked in. I don't know if they're going to throw in anything else. That's a pretty stacked card. All 4 titles on the line, and with Trick Mello as the main event. It's like maybe they might add maybe one more match. I don't know, but still, that it's like the Stand and Deliver looks like it's on paper is going to kick ass.
Yeah.
And it's like also I like that it's like they're good back and like some video promo stuff between Sol Rucka and Blair Davenport to build up their feud that just started now that Sol Rucka's back. Oh man, her finisher. He just looks so fucking smooth.
What is it called?
The Soul Catcher.
Whatever it is, it's catching. That's for sure.
It's a badass finisher.
It's like a shooting star cutter or something like that. Like it's a weird.
It's like she's going up. It's like she flips off the ropes and it does like a reverse flip into a cutter. It's like when you see her, you're just like, oh damn! It's like because she does it so. It's like when Tiffany does her moonsault or Io does her moonsault. It's like boom boom, like damn, that's God. Yeah. She's good at doing that.
Julia Hart is like almost there.
Yeah, almost there.
With that, but yeah, that whatever. Yeah, that just sucks that she was literally hitting her shot and then got hurt.
Credit to Ilya for doing a good job of holding his hand in one way, make it look like it was like really hurt when it's like it's not. It's like oh my hand. It's like right. So it's like I was like, oh, I knew that was kind of like a purpose. I'm like, he's sending stacks at him to try to soften Ilya up to make him easier to beat. So it's like,
But so far, this Stand and Deliver card is definitely something. So, and that's happening on Friday, right?
No, it's happening on Saturday at noontime.
Okay, I was about to say, like, how are you gonna have Stand and Deliver and the Go Home show for SmackDown? Like, so that's what I was confused about first.
No, that Friday is going to be SmackDown, and then right after SmackDown is going to be the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And then Saturday at noon, Stand and Deliver, and then night 1 later in the evening.
Okay. And is Stand and Deliver in that arena, or is it okay? That crowd is going to be tired at the end of the day because of Stand and Deliver. For that, but you're definitely gonna get your money's worth. Well, they're still
gonna have a couple hours in between Stand and Deliver and Mania. It's like that's why they're having it start at noon, because I think Mania's start time is like 7.
Yeah,
so like that. You think so Stand and Deliver should be done by about like 3:00 Eastern time. So like usually gives the fans like 4-hour break to like chill before before Mania kicks off.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Saturday's
Exactly. Yeah, it's good. It's going to be a long day for people there between stand and deliver to kick off the day, and then night one of Mania in the evening.
Yeah,
It's like,
but I mean, basically, it's going to be like stand deliver, and then they're going to do the press conference, and then go right into Mania, basically. For that is the way I'm looking at it. So, but yeah, I think that's anything else on NXT, because that's pretty much
no, it's a really good show this week.
yeah. So, again, shout out to wrestling for still being consistently awesome.
Yeah.
I am loving this era that we're in with AEW, and AEW's finally, like you're saying, they're getting their mojo back from when they kind of first started. And the thing is, a couple times people are like, "Oh, they make Cody bleed," but we see people. It's like, okay, when it's bleeding is great when it works for story.
Yeah, it's
not
like,
just John Moxley going out there and just punching himself in the face.
I agree with the criticism of AEW has had too much blood. They haven't done that since Revolution. I'm glad, because like it's like every week is like someone was bleeding. It's like,
right,
you don't need to do that every single time. It's like Jews should be reserved when it's a very personal match and it fits. It's like, when Stone Cold and Brett had their match at WrestleMania 13, and Stone Cold had that blade job that with the the legendary shot where that's like, he's in the sharpshooter and the close up, and it's like it's like he's pouring down his face right into his mouth while Shamrock's asking him if he quits. It's like, that fit the match, because that feud between Brett and Stone Cold was personal.
Yeah.
It was a blood feud. So it's like, when it fits the feud, that's when you should do it, not just because you can do it.
Right.
I don't know.
Moxley can't lose any more blood. Well, bet, dude.
Well, then Renee needs to give him a little bit more hard time about it.
Right. He ain't stopping.
Yeah, no, it's it's like, you do it too much, it takes away the specialness of it. It's like, like Flair bled, but he didn't bleed in every match he did. It's like in certain matches he would, he'd get all busted open. It's like, but like he didn't do it like every freaking title match. It's like when it was deserved, when like the feud he was having with someone was that personal. Like with Dusty, or at Macho Man at WrestleMania 8, it felt appropriate.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, sometimes it makes sense to do. And then also, for little kids at home, if you want to play a little drinking game, go back and watch The Rock beating up Cody Rhodes and drink every time he says, "Look at you," because I think he said it every 3 seconds, which is fine. I mean, it's just kind of the whole pacing of the
or Mama Rhodes.
Or Mama Rhodes. Look at your son. Look at your son, Mama Rhodes. Mama Rhodes, look at your son. Look at it, Mama Rhodes. I was just eating it. I was just eating it up. It was great stuff. This version we've never seen this heel version of Rock. We've seen him hide behind the court. We've seen corporate Rock, who's kind of hide behind, just kind of like, you suck, blah blah blah. We've seen Hollywood Rock, who just like, I'm better than you.
This is a nice fusion.
This is ruthless Rock.
Yeah. No, this is like an evolution where it's like, this is a much more ruthless version of like Hollywood Rock.
Right, where he's spiteful, right? Because he's like, why did you do this? You're dumb.
Last time he was after
my time.
Yeah, last time he was after someone this hard was like when he was like feuding with like Austin the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the infamous episode of Raw where they were fighting. They fought on a bridge and he tossed Stone Cold over the bridge.
Right. No, that's what people thought when he had Cody Rhodes to like show the truck in the background. They were like, "Oh, he's going to throw him over that," But it's much more because he beat him up, and Cody Rhodes is like sitting there like bleeding against his bus with like Pharaoh sitting there and like American like that was better shot in the way they lit it with the truck with the SUVs and stuff sitting there. So it's just good stuff. Bloodline Rock, maybe. I like Final Bossing. That's kind of corny. I still haven't fully.
I like Bloodline Rock. I think Bloodline Rock's a good title.
Yep. Well, look back at it. We'll definitely trademark that. Jeremy, I'm pretty sure you won't find a legal battle with that one.
No.
At all. But Anyway, thank you, Justin, for another amazing show. Always a pleasure. Thank you all for joining us. Jeremy, Giff, Brennan, for in the chats. Leave a comment down below.
Appreciate
What
you
are
guys
you most
being here.
excited about coming up in WrestleMania? Join us next week. Be on the lookout. We will be doing. We've got to iron everything out, but we will be doing with a special guest to go over a WrestleMania preview. That's pretty much all we're going to do. We might just record and post it. We don't know yet. I still have to iron that out. But I will let you all know as soon as we get all those details ironed out. For anything, join the Ruckus, patreon.com/RuckusEV. For anytime you want to join us and be a part of this great channel that we're doing, and we can help you do a show if you have an idea and everything. Join the Patreon, get on there, and we'll let you know. Also, join our Discord. We pretty much sit there and talk about wrestling all the time. It's pretty much what we do. It's great, and then also other things that we've got going on there. It's very lively. We have a little Catan matches every once in a while. We haven't done that quite in a little bit. We'll probably get there back on it eventually. And
I hope so.
and yeah, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Join on the rocket ship, as Bobby Burger says. And Justin, always a pleasure. And we will see you all next time.